All right, we'll begin. So, very good evening to everyone once again. Thank you all for being here. My name is Hiren, and I'm joined by the director of our institute, Mrs. Anupa Gore, and we will be the co-speakers of the event today. We will be taking you through a short presentation in which we'll help you understand what the test is all about, take you through some sample questions, it give you a grasp of what the test is like and what sort of things you should be keeping in mind when you will be preparing for the test. We'll also tell you a little bit about our institute, how we conduct training at our institute, and how our students score when they go for the test. This session is supposed to be of around 60 minutes. I will be showing you a QR code at the end of the presentation. Feel free to use your phone and scan the code so that you can download this entire presentation and refer to it later on. I'll be sharing a lot of links as well, which will help you to kickstart your preparation for the IELTS test. So a quick introduction about us. So as I mentioned, the two of us would be taking the presentation. So it's the two of us along with a couple of more faculty at our institute who conduct the training services. And there are three faculty members in total who help students prepare for the IELTS. Uh, so the entire backbone of the operation is headed by Anupa ma'am. I conduct most of the training sessions. So when you do come with for us for training, you'll be seeing me quite a lot in the classrooms. We also have another faculty who takes care of mock tests, giving you a preparation plan, helping you in every step of the way. We have been trained and certified by the people who make the test. And this is just a quick look at our certification. About us, we mainly offer training and counseling services when it comes to test preparation. There are several tests that you may have heard of, which you might also prepare for. Tests like the GRE, SAT, along with the tests like IELTS. You may even consider preparing for TOEFL or PT, depending upon your choice and your acceptance of these test scores to universities overseas. We also offer services for admission and visa counseling. We are very well known for all of our services. We do get students from NASIC and other parts of the country to take these services. We have a very detailed and a comprehensive manner of offering our training services. We evolved a lot since the past few years owing to the pandemic. So we conduct our training sessions online. It is also conducted in person at our newly made campus. We also do something called as the hybrid mode, which is what we are doing right now. As I'm communicating with you, there are also some people who have joined me online and they are getting to see the same thing that you guys are able to see. So we give students the convenience to do their training from wherever they are. They can't be here at any point in their training. They have this ability to also attend these training sessions simultaneously online and from the comfort of their home. We also conduct training sessions which are purely online. We get a lot of people from other cities like Mumbai, Pune, even the Indians who live in other nations who want to attend our training services. We have students from countries like Oman, Dubai, who live who are Indians and they take our training services. So we also have some sessions which are purely online. We have been able to guide more than 3,500 students since the past 21 years, since the institute has taken its inception. We take pride in telling our students that we guide them in getting into top universities and getting them the best scholarship opportunities possible. So we are very well known in the market for our premium training and counseling services. Uh, we also have our founder director, Mr. Amit Gore. He mainly takes care of our counseling and visa services, while we have Anupa ma'am who mainly heads our training services. Enough about us. Now let us take you through what we are here for, the IELTS test. I'm sure you've heard of the test before. You know some of your friends, relatives who have taken the test. People tend to say good things, bad things about it, but we can give you a very objective picture and an understanding of what the test is like. so that you know what you're in for and the things that you should be taking care of during your preparation time. First of all, you must know that IELTS is one of the several English language proficiency tests that you can consider opting for. This particular test has acceptance in 140 plus countries. You can apply to more than 11,000 organizations, including some professional associations, governments, universities as well. You can take the test in two mediums. The test offers that flexibility, that liberty of choice to you. You can decide to take the test on paper, but there is also a computer delivered test option. Uh, the IELTS on computer is getting offered since the past 3 or 4 years. Uh, Statistically, we do see most students preferring the IELTS on paper, but you must know that there is also a computer delivered test that you can opt for. Then comes the purpose. I'm sure that a lot of you over here are going to take the IELTS test so that you can apply to a university for a degree overseas. So in that case, you should be taking the IELTS academic, while people who prepare for uh, jobs, people who apply for immigration, these people take the general training test type. So if you are someone who will be studying in a university overseas, you should know that you are taking the academic IELTS test type. In our session today, we will be covering these task types and this explanation, which is for both academic and general training. In fact, I would be happy to know if anyone here is considering to prepare for the general training IELTS, so that I can make sure that I'm uh, focusing on that as well. So, is everyone here going to take the IELTS to study abroad? Okay, great. So if in case there is anything about general training, I'll keep it very short and concise over there and not getting into too much of detail. Now, a lot of you would have heard about the band scores of the IELTS test. Everybody knows about it, everybody talks about it. But to bring things to perspective, we must understand this particular infographic on the board. Uh, so, universities that you would apply for would expect a language proficiency level which is to the independent level, the highest level of independency in your language use. And there is this system called as CEFR, or the Common European Framework, and in that there are these levels made: A1, A2, B1, B2. So you are expected to have the highest level of proficiency in the independent grade, which is B2, and which is why some of you would have known that to apply to certain universities, you need a 6.5 overall. It's a very common number that people get to hear. So the significance of the number is very clear from this infographic. So you need to show independence at the highest level. If you can go high and show proficiency, which is high skill, then that would also be great. This is again another understanding about the scoring system. So the test has this scoring system which is designed in a way that it can also grade you in increments of 0.5. So you might end up getting a 6 overall or a 6.5 overall, 7 or a 7.5. So scores of that kind. When you take the test, you sit for the test, which is of about 3 hours in some days, then you will get a scorecard or the test report form, sample of which is shown in front of you. To give you another understanding about the two ways of test delivery, this infographic should give you an idea. The test has 4 sections, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. If your plan is to take the test on computer, you should know that only the listening, reading, and writing part is on computer. Speaking, irrespective of whether it's paper or on computer, you will have a face-to-face interview with an examiner. An important thing to also note in this infographic is that you get scores quicker when you take the test on computer. But that should not be the sole reason why you should take the test on computer. We do request students to understand how these two testing environments are like, try sample questions, and then decide on it. There's an infographic that I'm showing you, which is a which is one of the many things that we offer to our students so that they can decide clearly. Now, there's a QR code which is also marked on this slide. So later on, when you'll be getting the entire presentation, feel free to scan the code, refer to the document, and try to make this decision on your own if you can. We as trainers can offer you advice, but you can be the best person deciding between the paper and the computer delivered test. Let me quickly show you a video which will give you a basic idea of how the computer delivered IELTS test is like.
To the computer delivered IELTS tutorial manual. This tutorial will show you how to complete and prepare your computer delivered IELTS. For each section, there's a clock at the top of the screen, which tells you how much time you have left.
I think there's just some problem with the audio. Really sorry about that.
For the reading and writing tests, the clock will turn red and flash when you have 10 and 5 minutes. When you have 10 and 5 minutes left. The tests will automatically stop when the time finishes. The instructions for each part are in the box at the top of the screen. You can use the navigation bar at the bottom of the screen to move from one question to the next. Click on the number to go to that question. You can also click on the forward arrow to go to the next question, or the back arrow to go to the previous question. When you have answered the question, a line will appear under that question in the navigation bar. You can click on Review if you want to look at the question again later. The question number will be shown as a circle. You can review and change your answers at any time until the end of the test. Click on the yellow arrow if you want to make the navigation bar smaller. You can use the scroll bar to see all the questions. In each of the tests, you can change the screen settings. To do this, click on the Settings tab at the top of the screen. You can change the size and color of the text. In each of the tests, there is a Help tab. If you click on the Help tab, this will give you information about the task you are currently doing. If you click on Test Help, you will see information about how the test works. If you wish, you can also highlight sections of text. If you need to leave the test room for a few minutes, you can hide your screen by clicking on the Hide tab. When you return to the test room, click on the Resume Test button. That is the end of the introduction tutorial for Computer Delivered IELTS. Check out the IDP IELTS YouTube channel for tutorial videos for listening, reading and writing.
Okay, hopefully that was a quick, simple look at how the computer delivered test is like. Do feel free to check out the entire playlist on YouTube. Do prefer watching these official videos so that it would give you a better idea of how the test is like. So if we talk more about the format, then this infographic should give you a general idea. So when you sit for the IELTS test, sit for two testing sessions. One of them is of around 2.5 hours. you'd be attempting the listening, reading, and writing sections. And then on a separate sitting, probably on a separate day, you'd be attempting your speaking interview. It may not be very clear to read, but you can certainly refer to all these resources, all this information later on thoroughly. We've extracted all this information from the official website, so you'll even get to read it all on the official website. Let us now become more hands-on and try out some questions of the test so that you get a good grasp of what the test is like. In front of you are a set of questions. It's a form that you can see in front of you. You will be listening to a recording in which two people are speaking to each other. Someone, a student, is planning to get some things shipped through courier, and he's speaking to someone who works at the shipping agency. I would like you to listen to this conversation. Try to complete the form like the way the shipping agent would do in the conversation. If you have a pen, pencil in front of you, a book, you can feel free to use it. If you're not having one, you can even use your phone, type in your answer, see if you are able to answer questions correctly. And some of you are just getting ready, so I'll give you guys a minute. The recording would be of around 2 minutes. Listen to it carefully. In the actual test, you will be listening to these recordings only once. So that's something that you should be knowing. Also, now if you aren't able to get all the answers, don't worry. You just have to try and get a grasp of what the test is like. Let's listen to the conversation now.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a customer and an agent at a company which ships large boxes overseas.
Good morning. Packham's shipping agents. Can I help you?
Oh, yes. I'm ringing to make inquiries about sending a large box, a container, back home to Kenya from the UK.
Yes, of course. Would you like me to try and find some quotations for you?
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I need a few details from you.
Fine.
Can I take your name?
It's Jacob Mkere.
Can you spell your surname, please?
Yes, it's Mkere.
Is that M for mother?
Yes.
Thank you. And you say that you will be sending the box to Kenya?
That's right.
And where would you like the box picked up from?
From college, if possible.
Yes, of course. I'll take down the address now.
It's Westall College.
Is that Westall?
Yes, college.
Westall College. And where's that?
It's Downlands Road in Bristol.
Oh, yes, I know it. And the postcode?
It's BS8 9PU.
Right. And I need to know the size.
Yes, I've measured it carefully and it's 1.5 metres long,
Right.
0.75 metres wide,
Okay.
and it's 0.5 metres high or deep.
Great. So I'll calculate the volume in a moment and get some quotes for that. But first, can you tell me, very generally, what will be in the box?
Yes, there's mostly clothes,
Okay.
and there's some books.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Yes, there's also some toys.
Okay, and what is the total value, do you think, of the contents?
Well, the main costs are the clothes and the books. They'll be about £1,500. But then the toys are about another 200. So I'd put down £1,700.
Is MKERE, the name of the college. That was also again spelled out. The passcode, again, a detail that was read out for you as it is. the width 0.75, 0.5 was the width, the height, the contents that he was carrying was that he was supposed to add in it was books and toys along with clothes, and he said that the estimated value is 17,100 pounds. Now these are some of the simpler questions that you see in the actual test. They become more complex as you proceed towards the test, and you'll be facing around 40 questions with varied kinds of complexities, skills. So this is what you'll be typically experiencing, and this is just a glimpse of what it is like. Overall, in our training, we do make sure that we help students understand the skills behind it, and then we help them to work on those skills. And then when they subject themselves to the actual test, they feel more confident and they see high scores. So everything is about recognizing and polishing those skills, which we mainly work out. If you are taking the test on paper, the answer sheet would look like this, and you just have to write your answers like so. How about some reading? I'm sure that a lot of us would find reading as a skill quite challenging. So when it comes to the IELTS test, again, it's all about skill and knowing how the test is typically designed. I'll give you about a minute in which you can try and quickly give a skim to the passage. I hope that it is readable for everyone. So yeah, give it a read, and I'll let you know what we shall do with it further. Go ahead, read the passage now. All right. So what would you say is this passage about? Was it a bit challenging? I think that would surely be it. Now, if in case you did find this quick read and a general understanding of the text a little difficult, do make sure that you practice a little so that you will get better at it. At our training, we do work on this skill called as skimming a text, which is the ability to quickly read a text. You must know what words to pay attention to. We also work on this skill called scanning, which is the ability to quickly find information based on a question that is presented. You can have a look at this sample question that is in front of you. Notice how it has some blanks, some details missing. So these are one of the many question types seen in the test called as table completion. So you are supposed to fill the table by adding those missing details, finding them from the passage. Now, so in our training, we do help students on this skill called scanning, as I told you. So if one would be able to identify what information is required, then after a quick scan, it is evident that all the answers are in the last paragraph of the passage. There's no need in referring to the first few paragraphs. So having that skill is quite important. If you've skimmed the passage well, you would know where to head to. And these are basically all the details that need to be filled in the table. So if you were to attempt this in the actual test, so in about 5 or 7 minutes, you should be able to find answers like so. Once all the answers are written, you have to write them all on the answer sheet. Now, one of the key challenges that people face in the reading test is time management. And for that, knowing what to do at a certain period of time is quite crucial. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are several skills that we need to develop in order to ace the test. Now, This completes my part of the presentation. I'll hand it over to Anupa ma'am. She'll brief you a little bit about the writing and the speaking sections of the test. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Hiren sir. Wish you a very good evening all. Yes, myself Anupa Gore, and today I'll be giving you an overview about writing and speaking section of the test, and I'll also let you know about our training methodology on these sections. Okay. Uh, Before we move on to the presentation, let me tell you some fact check. Our years of experience suggest or see that students find writing and speaking sections difficult as compared to listening and reading sections. So obviously, if you check those scores, you'd realize that average score on speaking and writing section is between 6 to 7, whereas average score on reading and listening section is between 7 to 8. So this shows that students find difficulty preparing for and also appearing for writing and speaking section of the test. Obviously, there are some reasons, and the main reason is a lack of exposure to practice on these skills. Like you write essays for your high school test, okay, and later in your professional studies or while you do your professional studies, you never get a chance or you never need these skills. And then coming to speaking, you never get exposure to express your ideas and thoughts in English. So that's the main reason why these skills remain undeveloped. So we at ASAC make it a point that our classes are highly focused to give students exposure and exam specific strategies to build these skills. Okay, because we understand that you have stipulated time to prepare for this test, and the time is constrained again when it comes to academic course load, right? So you have limited time, and so we make it a point that we make use of that time as best as possible, as effective as possible. Okay, so now coming on to the presentation, you can see two formats on slide. That is the writing format or the writing two tasks for writing section for academic module and two tasks for general module. The only difference between academic and general module is like for academic you have report writing or the candidates who write academic test generate report, whereas for general training it is letter writing. That's it. We are not going to get into general training in depth. So coming to academic part, you can check out there is task 1 and task 2 and report writing, which is for 20 minutes, and you must write minimum 150 words in 20 minutes. And then there is essay writing, which is 40 minutes, and you must write minimum 250 words for essay writing. So obviously, you can see that task 2 carries more weightage than task 1. Okay, and in almost all these sections, you must have noticed that test gets progressively difficult. Okay, for listening, for reading, even for writing, you can check report writing is easier than essay writing. Speaking also is the same case. So test gets progressively complex, progressively difficult. Coming to the next slide, you can see how those questions look like you can check on screen that there is this image. So you come across such kind of image or images. It can be bar chart, pie chart, table, process diagram. So you come across one or two images and you are supposed to write a report based on what you see in that image or those images. Okay, you're supposed to choose overall trend and some important features and put them in your report. Okay, time allotted, this instruction remains same like 20 minutes for any report writing, and minimum word limit is 150. There is no maximum word limit. However, coming to the task, you can see that you come across essay topic followed by instruction. Okay, so there is this essay topic and then there is instruction, and the essay topic is like the threat of nuclear weapons maintains world peace. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. The benefits of nuclear technology far outweigh the disadvantages. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, So you can see that the instruction, to what extent do you agree or disagree. So there are typical question types, like there can be agree, disagree, or it can be discuss both views and give your opinion, or it can be do advantages outweigh disadvantages, or it can be is this negative or positive development. There can be causes, reasons, solutions. Okay, so these are typical question types, and essay topic changes every time. However, you need not have any specialized knowledge to write upon a given topic, because students from varied academic background do appear for this test. Okay, so you need not have any specialized knowledge, considering that the essay topics are designed in a way that you have experienced or you have general awareness about that particular topic. Did you get that? Okay, so this is like 40 minutes and 250 words. That is the minimum word limit. So that's how this is the letter writing, and then task to remain same for general. Okay. So as I mentioned, our training methodology is specifically focused on meeting examiners' expectation and understand assessment criteria. This ensures that students don't get entangled into flowery language or unnecessary details. Okay, so your time is utilized to develop skills that must meet examiners' expectation and those assessment criteria. Do you get that? Okay, so proper strategy and structure, that is something which is focused in our classes. You can check these assessment criteria. They are again the technical terminology. You can say to know what are the assessment criteria, and you can see them like for task 1 and for task 2, criteria number 2, 3 and 4 remain same. Okay, and there is change in criteria number 1. Okay, so you can see for 2, 3 and 4 it is coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, in short, in simple words it is vocabulary, and 4, grammatical range and accuracy. Your ability to use those grammar structures naturally and without any errors. Okay, and task achievement and task response. There is this band descriptor that explains these criteria in detail. However, when you try to get into this, it is generally observed that students find it very difficult to understand, or they end up getting confused. Okay, so to solve this problem of to solve this problem, I have taken 11 key phrases from band descriptor to let you know as to what do those examiners expect out of your essay. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through it. That is, if you check, if you number 1 and number 2 address all parts of task and present clear position. Okay, this is relating to task response. Okay, that means just now we discussed that to what extent do you agree or disagree. So there has to be clear position. You completely agree, completely disagree. Even if you agree part of the claim you do not agree, you give balanced position, that is also clear position, but you must provide clear position. Okay, so that is first one is task response. Then you check 3 and 4, that is extend and support main ideas. That is, it's not adequate to give your position, you must be able to support your position. Okay, so that is the part of CC. That is, you organize those points, you bring forth those points, you organize those points. There is clear progression, there is use of cohesive devices like words like for example, however, but, yet, this, that, usage of pronouns and all, paragraphs with clear central topic, precise, flexible vocabulary, less common vocabulary, range of grammar structures, error-free sentences. So number 10 and 11, that is relating to grammatical range and accuracy. Then you have 8 and 9, which is relating to lexical resource or vocabulary. Then you have 7, 6, 5 and 4, which is relating to CC. And then you have 1, 2 and 3, which is relating to task response. That is, give your position, relevant idea and support your position. Okay, and you can see an example here to understand how do you fulfill these criteria. Topic: some people believe that nowadays we have too many choices in general. Okay, And instruction is, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? There is this introduction. Obviously, this comes after planning, but just to let you know, I have written down here. Introduction, it is often said that modern life presents us with an overwhelming number of choices. I completely agree with this. And I believe that the internet and globalization are the two major factors involved. Okay, so let me tell you that the task response criteria is already met because there is clear position which you can see. I completely agree. Okay, then the next part is extend and support main ideas, organize ideas logically, and clear progression of ideas. Now, extend and support main ideas, this is done in body paragraphs. Okay, then organize ideas logically and clear progression. Like you can see the organization of this introduction. First, the topic is paraphrased and introduced, and then the second sentence gives position. So there is organization and clear position from topic to opinion. Have you realized that? Okay. Then coming to lexical resource or vocabulary, we already discussed that it is about vocabulary, appropriate usage of vocabulary. In most cases, it is synonyms that they come naturally. Okay. Then usage of flexibility, language flexibility, okay, or different structures. So you can see that it is often said that is paraphrase of nowadays, sorry, is paraphrase of some people believe, okay, modern life nowadays, okay, presents us with an overwhelming number of choices, too many choices, equivalent to overwhelming number of choices. So that is less common vocabulary. 9 out of 10 candidates won't be able to use such kind of words. So that is less common. Okay. I completely agree with this. And I believe that internet and globalization are two major factors involved. Topic specific vocabulary. Many students have this wrong belief that you need to use fancy and difficult words, but it's not about fancy and difficult words, it's topic specific vocabulary. So we are already discussing a topic about having too many choices, and internet and globalization are the terms relating to having too many choices. So this is called as topic specific vocabulary. Okay, so that is how, and then the two structures, grammar structures, sentences that are presented over here are error free. Okay, so that's how examiners assess your essays. So this is just an idea. We do this throughout our essay and we practice these skills in our classes. Okay, so this is about writing. Then coming to task one, in general, I suggest to write 4 paragraph essay for task 2 and for task 1 as well. Okay, so because you know to structure your essay is the first step to produce effective draft. Okay, so you can see 4 paragraphs here. For task 1, you have come across table. So introduction is again overview of question statement. Then there is this overview, 2 sentence overview in general, and that is overall picture, bigger picture that you see in a given image. Then you have paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Here we discuss about what all details can you include and how do you include them. So we practice these skills in class. Okay, then that is how, this is how your sample space looks like, and you can clearly see at the end, you know, there is area for examiners work, and you can clearly see these assessment criteria on the basis of which they assess or evaluate your essays. Okay, so you can clearly see that there is task response, length, okay, then CC, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. Okay, so they really mark on the pointers. Did you get that? Okay, this is for task 2. This is sample. You also get supply of you know, extra supplements in case you need them. Okay, so that was all about writing section. Writing section now recently is the first section is the come across that you come across. Earlier it was listening followed by reading and then writing, but now it is writing first, then listening, and then reading. Okay, they have changed the order of these sections. I'm sorry. Coming to interview structure, obviously it's an interview, so face-to-face interview is conducted to assess your speaking skills. And there are three parts to your interview: part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1 is all about introduction. So examiner asks you very basic questions. They are relating to you, your hobby, hometown, then let's say your future plans, okay, family background, and etc, etc, etc. So this really acts as an icebreaker activity to make you comfortable to face interview ahead. So part 2 is individual long term, in which you know, examiner hands you over cue card topic, rough paper, okay, and there is clock. So he time you 1 minute, you are given 1 minute to prepare on a given topic, and then you speak between 1 to 2 minutes. So there is this topic, like, you know, you can take the example here: describe a good friend, and then there are 3 4 points to help you prepare on a given topic. Okay, so here you need to talk for 1 to 2 minutes, and then there is two-way discussion where examiners ask you some abstract questions relating to part 1. Like, you can take an example here. The topic was relating to describe a good friend, and then the question may be how important is friendship. Okay, so the whole interview lasts between minimum 11 minutes to maximum 14 minutes. Okay, it's between 11 to 14 minutes. And if you check individual division, you can see 4 to 5 minutes for interview and introduction and interview, 3 to 4 minutes for individual long term, and 4 to 5 minutes for two-way discussion. All right, okay. So this is again band descriptor for a speaking section. For speaking and writing, two criteria remain same, because this is the test of English language. So two criteria, that is lexical resource, appropriate vocabulary, and grammar structure, grammatical range and accuracy. These two pointers remain same. What changes is fluency and pronunciation. So there are these two additional criteria, that is fluency, ability to speak continuously without taking too many pauses, okay, and pronunciation is ability to speak clearly. Okay, so 4 pointers on which your speaking skills are assessed. What is not important? Your body language is not at all important. What you speak is more important. Okay, eye contact is not at all important. Sometimes you will realize that examiner doesn't even look at you. Okay, that doesn't mean that he is not caring for you or he is not listening to you. His attention is there, but eye contact is not at all necessary. Okay, your quality of ideas, that is whether you whether examiner agrees or disagrees, is not important. You can present your opinion. Okay, sometimes it is generally observed that you come across a topic that you haven't experienced till time, but you can make up a story. Okay, examiner doesn't check authenticity of your answers. Even if you say China is in India, it's fine. Okay, so it doesn't check authenticity. Then you have presentation skills there that are not important. Examiner's body language is not at all important. You will realize some examiners are really very unfriendly. Okay, but sometimes unfriendly examiners may surprise you with a good score. Okay, so examiner's body language is not at all important. These are the main 6 topic areas, and I generally suggest students to keep some points handy on these topics. And in actual exam, they can just you know, make some changes here and there depending upon topic, and customize their answers according to a question. So it is like describe a person. A variation under this can be talk about a small child that you know, talk about an old person that you know, talk about a person who is good cook. Okay, so there is this variation. If it is to describe a place, then the place that you want to visit or you have visited. Okay, it's describe an object, describe an event. So it can be, you know, this event is very popular with examiners, like, you know, festivals, birthday celebrations, okay, anniversary celebration. So comes under event. Activity, like this, talk about an activity that you have recently taken up. Okay, and then describe your favorite. There is no end. It can be your favorite movie, favorite restaurant, favorite song, favorite dish. Okay, so there is no end to favorite. So these are the common topic areas, just for your reference. Quick tips. Yep, these tips are very important, because as I said, strategies are important. You have to prepare yourself for interview within very limited period of time. So you must know structure. Okay, so when you answer questions in part 1, what's not important is the questions being very simple. You need not think too much and just quickly think about a question, and whatever first comes in your head, just go with that. Okay, so your fluency is tested. That's very important. Then part 2 is, as you are given 1 minute, you can think of good words, appropriate vocabulary, not fancy and difficult words. Okay. And part 3 is focus on structure. That is, you answer the question. Like there was this question, do you think friendship was important? So you say yes or no. Okay. Then explain. Then you give at least 1 or 2 reasons as to why do you think friendship is important. Okay. And then come up with an example. So long detailed answers are expected in part 3. So what is the difference between part 1 and part 3? You give short, simple answers in part 1. As I said, they act as, or they serve as ice-breaking activity. Okay, and part 3 you answer in detail. That's it. So, this is very important. We conduct mock interviews at our institute to help students prepare for these interviews so that they get used to. Okay, and at the time of interview, you don't even feel that you are appearing for final interview. Okay, so we prepare till that point of time. Okay, so one last point is, like as I said, writing and speaking skills require time to practice, to prepare for these sections. They are not very difficult, but if you don't adopt right approach, then you may end up getting low scores. And it's just not about average score. Universities do insist on individual score, so it has to be 6. Neha ma'am is there; she is looking after, UK, Australia, and she knows how important scores on individual section. You score band 8 or band 9 in listening and reading, and you score 5 on writing and speaking, of no use. Okay, so you must give equal importance to individual section. So it's 6.5 overall, not less than 6 on individual section. Understood? Clear? So that conclude my part. I now request Hiren sir to go ahead with the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so we've reached our concluding remarks regarding the presentation. I'm sure a lot of you would have felt very overwhelmed with all the jargon that we've thrown at you, but don't worry. All that you need is a very clear, strategic way to prepare ahead. So at our institute, we offer you expert faculty guidance. We give you material which is official IELTS training material. We do conduct multiple batches at our institute so that it would be convenient for you to join in one of our batches at any time. We can take these classes for you in person. We can invite you here in the room, or you can sit at your comfort of your home and attend these same training sessions online. We integrate a lot of digital tools like Google Classroom so that there is a lot more that happens beyond these training sessions that we conduct. Students do their assignments, they get a lot of resources that we share with them. So we sort of have a communication that goes on despite of whether we are there together or not. We do conduct doubt solving sessions. Students come to us at any time, come share their doubts, and we do make sure that we give them the guidance which is particular to their skill level and what their needs are. Anupa ma'am also takes these extra classes on writing. You may have seen how technical one has to be in order to write, speak. So a lot of extra classes do get conducted for that as well. Even speaking mock interviews. A lot of our students do tell us as to how these mock interviews, the extra classes do come in help when they are having these high scores in their hands. A little bit about our intensive one-to-one training services. It's one of the recent types of training services that we have launched about a couple of years back. We've seen that there are several students who need one-to-one guidance and attention. What students also look for is a fast-tracked approach that I only have about 1 month in hand. I have to apply to a university for September of this year, for the fall of this year. It's February now. How do I prepare? So we have this 10-day fast track course, which we call as intensive one-to-one training. You'd be getting the same training as what you'd be getting in a group setting, but you'd be getting that in a short crash course manner. And it also works in the sense of giving students that one-to-one attention. So we do make sure that the training sessions that are held in such group settings, we are paying attention to everyone in the room, but people who need that special attention do opt for this. Now, these are some of our top scorers, and this is just for 2022. We are very proud to share these names with you. You might probably find some names that you're also familiar with, maybe your friends, relatives. A lot of our students also share their testimonials on our social media platforms, Google reviews. Feel free to read about their experience, check out how they prepared for the test. This is just to give you a visual understanding of how our students perform. We are very proud to say that most of our students, they do tend to score 7 or above. So it's not just targeting the bare minimum. Kata pass hona is not what we aim for. We aim for excellence. And it's not just that you get a score on your mark sheet and you're done. We try to build that confidence in you so that when you go overseas, you would not find it hard to interact with someone who uses English as a first language. Now, if you guys are interested to enroll for our training, here is some information about our batches. We will be starting a new batch of training from next week. A fresh run of batches are going to begin on 6th of March. Multiple timings for your convenience. We also have a weekend batch. If you are a working professional, if you find it hard to take out time during the weekdays, the weekend batch is a good option for you. If you also want to attend your classes from your home or from your workplace, there are these online hybrid batches, so you can sit in front of your computer, phone, and you can attend these training sessions. As I said earlier, if you want a fast track course with one-to-one attention, do get to know about our training services, which you offer, the intensive one-to-one training services. Here are some preparation resources. I did mention to you at the beginning of the presentation that you'll get this entire presentation to a QR code. So when you get this document, feel free to click these links and check out the websites. It's a compilation of all these pages that you should refer to get an entry level understanding of the test and also some basic strategies. There are also practice questions in it, so do feel free to check out. So I have a bunch of different resources in it, so you can feel free to check it out whenever you get time. With this, we have reached the end of our presentation. Uh, I would like to thank you all once again for being here. Do feel free to note down our contact details if you want to start training. Once again, our new batches are starting next week, so do decide and enroll with us accordingly. I now open the session for question answer. If in case you guys have any questions, you can also feel free to use your phone, maybe take a picture or scan this. And for people who are here online, I will also share the link with you so that you can directly click in the chat and you can download it. So for those who are with me online, please check out the chat. I have shared the link through which you can download this presentation. All right. Any questions? Okay. Maybe we did a really good job at explaining everything, or probably you have a lot of questions that you would like to answer during our training. So, hope to see you all in our training. Yeah. Great question. So, if you take the IELTS academic and you have that score sheet in hand, can you use it for other things apart from applying to universities? Is that your question? Yes. Now, if in case you do make use of your IELTS score and you update it in your resume, that would also be of great help. Uh, some of you are probably in college. You might be sitting for placements just to have some backup as a backup option. Feel free to add it in your resume. If you are going to apply for work which does require you to show your language proficiency skills, and this can act as a good document to support. However, you must know that the test that you take is valid for only 2 years. So the score has a validity. So let's say if someone takes the test today, which is 25th of February, it would be valid for the next 2 years. That means till February 24, 2025. So you can make use of it provided that it is valid during that time. You can show it for employment. I'm sure you guys would be thinking of a plan B. Maybe if not going overseas, you might apply to universities in India, or maybe apply for a job. So you can make use of that score if you want to. But do keep in mind that if you are going to apply for certain workplaces like in the field of medicine, they might probably even ask you to show your score for IELTS general training. So it's a little subjective, but if you have a score, you can use it for other things. And don't just think of taking the IELTS test just so that you can use that scorecard. Do keep in mind that there are several benefits of preparing and taking the IELTS test. When you sharpen your communicative skills and when you build that sense of confidence, it would really help you in other facets of life. Like when our students, when they go overseas, they don't experience what's called as a culture shock or a language barrier. And I don't know how to speak to this person. I feel very awkward. I don't know what to do. Instead, we help students to have that bridge and get into this use of this language that they would be using on a daily basis. And that's what training is for. It's not just about us teaching you English. We groom you in a way that you become that confident person when you would be done out of this process. In cases of applying to countries where English is not the first language, you would very likely end up taking the course which is taught in English. So in that case, you definitely need an English language proficiency score. So yeah, you definitely need it if your course is taught in the English language.
Like there are students who are going to Germany. Their courses are bachelor's degrees, undergraduate degrees. They are taught in English. So you want to stay there and do job, then you may need the other language, their regional language. So there are students who are taking German language level 1, level 2, but they do need IELTS.
IELTS is basically for European region, but
Not necessarily. As I told you a few slides back, you can apply to 140 plus countries. So the acceptance of this test score is worldwide. In fact, when you go through the resources, you will find a link in which when you open the page of the official test, you can type in the name of a university that you want to apply to, and it will show you all the courses that the university offers and the respective score that it needs. You can apply to countries in Europe, then in North America, even to places like Dubai, Singapore. You would need these test scores. So, if you do need guidance regarding the application process, country selection, all that, then we do have our counseling services that can also help you with that.
I'm planning to be US.
Mhm.
So I was just confused if some universities are not accepting IELTS and they are asking for TOEFL.
Yeah,
That's
it's a very common
It
query.
was the case earlier, but now in students even going for PhD, they submit their score, IELTS
Yes.
score. So IELTS is universally accepted nowadays. And if you check, there are many students who are giving IELTS than TOEFL. But we have a center in Nashik, so it's very convenient. Don't worry, even if you are planning to go to US, IELTS is perfectly accepted.
And if you're considering European countries as a backup, you should be least concerned. It's accepted in all those nations that you're thinking about.
Anything else? Did you like the presentation?
Okay. Thank you all for coming. So hope to see you guys in training soon. If you do have any more questions, feel free to drop in. People at our administration office would be able to help you with the enrollment process. Do get in touch with us as soon as possible. The previous slide, I've also shared the contact details. So if you want to make a visit to the enrollment process, You have all the details with you.
This is our tennis stand center that we have started in the last year. Our main office is at Chandan. Okay, and you will find the entire counseling part is done over there. If you have any inquiries or any other thing, admission procedure, and everything, just contact us on the office. It's just behind Nandan's books.
All right. Thank you guys for coming.
All the best. See you in upcoming batches. Bye-bye.
For those who are here online, thank you for joining. Feel free to ask any questions if there are any. We're done for today. Thank you guys for coming.
Actually, I am applying for PG diploma here.
Okay.
So I can show 16-year education in US
Mhm.
because they are asking for it.
Yeah.
Or else I was going, my bias was